The starship Aegis drifted silently through the Kuiper Belt, its sensors probing the endless dark for any sign of the anomaly that had brought them to the edge of known space. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the bridge's main viewport, her dark eyes fixed on the star-speckled void before her. After 15 years of deep space patrol, she thought she'd seen everything the universe could throw at them. She was wrong. "Commander, we're picking up that signal again," Lieutenant Patel called from his station, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "It's stronger this time, but it still doesn't make sense." Chen turned from the viewport, her movement fluid despite the artificial gravity. "Show me." The main display flickered to life, showing a wave pattern unlike anything in their database. It pulsed with an impossible rhythm, as if the signal existed in multiple frequencies simultaneously. "The math doesn't work," Dr. Maya Rivera, their chief physicist, said as she studied the readouts. Her usually composed face showed a mix of frustration and wonder. "According to these readings, the source is both 20,000 kilometers away and right on top of us. It's as if space itself is folding." Before Chen could respond, the ship's AI, spoke through the bridge speakers. "Commander, gravitational anomaly detected. Mass displacement suggests an object approximately 3 kilometers in length has appeared." The word appeared hung in the air. Objects didn't just appear in space. They couldn't. "Visual confirmation," Officer Zhang announced, his voice tight with tension. "You need to see this." The main screen shifted, and every person on the bridge fell silent. Against the backdrop of stars hung a vessel that denied every law of physics humanity had ever written. Its hull seemed to shift and flow like liquid metal, yet sensor readings showed it was harder than any material known to science. Patterns of light rippled across its surface in impossible colors that hurt to look at directly. "No engine emissions," Paddle reported, his voice barely a whisper. "No radiation signature. No heat. Commander, according to our sensors, it's not actually there." Chen felt the weight of command settle heavily on her shoulders. First contact protocols existed, but none of them covered what to do when the contact violated the fundamental laws of reality. "ARIA, full scan. I want to know everything about that ship that our sensors can tell us." Chen's voice remained steady, years of training kicking in. "Dr. Rivera, your theory." The physicist shook her head, still staring at the readings. "Commander, this technology, it's beyond anything we've even theorized. The hull appears to exist in a state of quantum superposition on a macroscopic scale. It's as if someone took Schrödinger's cat and scaled it up to the size of a small city." A new signal cut through their communications, bypassing every encryption and security protocol, as if they didn't exist. A voice spoke, neither male nor female, neither organic nor artificial. "Greetings, Starship Aegis. We are the Nexus. Your species stands at a crossroads, and time grows short." Chen straightened her uniform, aware that this moment would be recorded in history books, if there were still history books to write after whatever came next. "This is Commander Sarah Chen of the Earth Defense Force vessel Aegis. We receive you, Nexus. Your civilization has been watched, studied, and judged, Commander. We bring warning and opportunity, a choice that will determine the survival of your species." The bridge crew exchanged glances. Chen kept her eyes fixed on the impossible ship. "We're listening. In 72 of your hours, a force you cannot comprehend will enter this system. They are called the Swarm, and they consume civilizations. Your weapons cannot harm them. Your shields cannot stop them. Your mathematics cannot predict them." Dr. Rivera's instruments beeped frantically as she took new readings of the Nexus vessel. "Commander, the ship's quantum state is becoming more coherent. I think it's preparing to show us something." The voice continued. "We offer you the means to fight, but the price is high. You must break your understanding of reality. Abandon the physics you cling to. Embrace impossibility, or face extinction." A beam of light that registered on no sensor reached out from the Nexus ship, creating a hologram in the center of the bridge. It showed Earth, peaceful and blue, suddenly swarmed by shapes that hurt the mind to look at. The simulation, if that's what it was, showed Earth's defenses failing, its cities falling, its people. Chen raised her hand, and the hologram froze. You're offering us technology. Technology that breaks the laws of physics. We offer you understanding, Commander Chen. The laws you know are a child's drawing of a universe more strange and terrible than your species has dreamed. But you have potential. We have seen it. The question is, are you ready to become something more than you are? The weight of billions of lives pressed down on Chen's shoulders. If the Nexus was telling the truth, they had 3 days to learn how to break reality itself. If they were lying. But the evidence of their technology hung before her, impossible and undeniable. Send your data, Chen said, making a decision that would change human history forever. We'll make it work. We have to. The Nexus response carried what might have been approval. Remember, Commander, the universe is not bound by what you believe possible. Neither are you. As the first packets of information began flooding the Aegis' computers, Chen looked at her crew, the finest minds Earth had to offer, and saw in their eyes the same mix of fear and determination she felt. They had 72 hours to master technology that rewrote the laws of physics. Humanity's greatest test was about to begin. The Aegis' laboratory had become a battlefield of ideas. Holographic displays filled the air with equations that seemed to mock the laws of physics, while the ship's quantum processors strained to simulate concepts that shouldn't exist. Dr. Maya Rivera hadn't slept in 36 hours, and they had 36 more until the swarm arrived. It's like trying to teach calculus to Newton, she muttered, staring at the latest simulation results. The Nexus's data was complete, perfect, and utterly alien. Every answer spawned 10 new questions, and time was running out. Commander Chen entered the lab, carrying fresh stimulant patches for the team. Talk to me, Maya. Can we make this work? Rivera gestured at the central hologram, where a model of the Nexus's quantum phase technology slowly rotated. The principles are beautiful, Sarah. They're not breaking physics. They're operating on a level where our physics is just a shadow of deeper rules. But implementing this, she shook her head. We'd need decades of research, new materials, new mathematics. We have 36 hours, Chen reminded her. The Nexus said we have the potential. What are we missing? Before Rivera could answer, Araya's voice filled the lab. Doctor, Commander, I believe I found something. The Nexus data contains a hidden pattern. It's not just information. It's a key to understanding. The AI projected a new series of equations. As the symbols flowed across the display, Rivera's eyes widened. Of course, she whispered. We've been trying to understand this as technology. But it's more than that. Araya, overlay our standard physics models. The display shifted, showing how conventional physics nested within the Nexus framework like a simple sketch inside a vast, multidimensional painting. We don't need to break physics, Rivera said, her voice gaining strength. We need to transcend it. Araya, start Quantum Simulation Series Alpha through Gamma. Focus on consciousness integration patterns. Chen raised an eyebrow. Consciousness integration. The Nexus ship isn't just advanced technology, Sarah. It's a synthesis of mind and matter, operating in quantum harmony. That's why our sensors can't properly detect it. We've been looking for a machine, but it's more like a thought given form. The lab's door hissed open as Lieutenant Patel rushed in. Commander, Doctor, we're receiving new transmissions from Earth. The Defense Council has reviewed our preliminary data. They're concerned. Chen's expression hardened. She'd known this was coming. Let me guess. They think it's too dangerous, too untested, too alien. Patel nodded. Admiral Harrison is demanding we cease all research until a full security review can be conducted. He's citing the Prometheus protocols. In 36 hours, none of that will matter if we can't stop the swarm, Chen said. She turned to Rivera. How sure are you about this consciousness integration theory? Rivera's hands danced across the holographic controls, bringing up new simulations. The math supports it. The Nexus didn't just give us technology. They gave us a way to evolve, to become something more than we are. But she hesitated. But what? The process would be irreversible. We'd be changing the fundamental way human consciousness interacts with reality. If it works, we gain the ability to manipulate quantum states directly, to exist partially outside normal spacetime. If it fails, we cease to exist entirely. Chen finished, and we have no way to test it except to try it. The lab fell silent except for the quiet hum of equipment. Finally, Chen spoke again. How many people would we need? Rivera consulted her calculations. To generate a strong enough quantum field to affect the swarm. At least 100 minds working in perfect sync. And they'd all have to volunteer, knowing the risks. Chen straightened her uniform. I'll be the first. Begin preparations. Commander, Paddle protested. The Admiral's orders will get us all killed. Chen cut him off. Maya, send a message to the crew. Explain everything. The risks, the possibilities, what failure means. Let them choose. As Rivera began composing the message, Araya spoke again. Commander, I've completed analysis of the swarm's projected arrival trajectory. They're accelerating. New estimated arrival, 28 hours. Chen felt the pressure of time bearing down like a physical weight. Send the message, Maya. Then get some rest. The next day is going to change everything, one way or another. Within an hour, responses began flooding in. Despite the risks, or perhaps because of them, over 300 crew members volunteered. They would transcend their humanity or die trying. As Chen read through the volunteer list, she found a message from Dr. Rivera. The Nexus was right about us having potential. We're about to prove just how right they were. The commander allowed herself a small smile. In 27 hours, they would attempt something that had never been done in human history. They would merge minds with machines, step outside the bounds of conventional physics, and face an enemy that consumed civilizations. The price of survival was transformation. The question was, would they still be human when it was over? As if sensing her thoughts, Araya spoke softly. Commander, Dr. Rivera's simulations show a 12% chance of success. Chen nodded. Then we'll make it count. Begin the integration preparations. It's time to show the universe what humanity can do when we have no choice but to achieve the impossible. The Aegis's main cargo bay had been transformed into something that belonged in a fever dream. Quantum field generators hummed with impossible frequencies, while 300 crew members lay in concentric circles around a central point where Commander Chen waited. Dr. Rivera's voice came through the ship-wide comm, steady despite her exhaustion. Final systems check complete. Quantum field synchronization at optimal levels. Commander, are you ready to begin? Chen looked around at her crew, engineers, scientists, tactical officers, maintenance workers, all volunteers, all willing to risk everything. Start the sequence, Dr. Araya. Initiate consciousness integration protocols. The A's voice seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. Integration beginning. All participants, clear your minds. Focus on the quantum resonance pattern as practiced. The air in the cargo bay began to shimmer with colors that had no names. Chen felt a strange doubling in her perception, as if she were simultaneously looking down at her body and through her eyes. Around her, she sensed similar experiences from her crew, their minds beginning to resonate with the quantum field. Phase 1 complete, Rivera reported from her secure station. Consciousness patterns are aligning. Starting quantum entanglement sequence. That's when the pain began. Not physical pain. Something deeper, as if reality itself was being rewritten through their nervous systems. Chen heard gasps and cries from her crew, but also felt their determination. No one broke formation. No one tried to escape. Quantum coherence reaching critical levels, Araya announced. Warning, detecting temporal anomalies throughout the ship. Dr. Rivera. The process is generating localized space-time distortions. Through the haze of transformation, Chen heard Rivera's response. Expected phenomenon. The human mind wasn't meant to exist across multiple quantum states. We're literally breaking the boundaries between consciousness and... The rest of her words dissolved into static as the cargo bay filled with light. Chen felt her consciousness expanding, connecting with others. She was herself, but also part of something larger. Through hundreds of pairs of eyes, she saw the cargo bay from every angle simultaneously. Through hundreds of minds, she felt the quantum field reshaping their collective understanding of reality. Final phase, initiating. Araya's voice seemed to come from inside Chen's own thoughts now. Consciousness integration at 80%, 90%. Warning. Detecting approach of high-mass objects at FTL speeds. The swarm has arrived ahead of schedule. Chen tried to speak, but her voice emerged as pure thought, instantly understood by every transformed crew member. How long until they reach Earth? 17 minutes, Araya replied. Integration process requires 3 more minutes for completion. Through their shared consciousness, Chen felt fear ripple through the crew. But underneath it was something stronger. Purpose. They had committed to this transformation not just to save themselves, but to save their entire species. Integration complete. Rivera's thoughts joined the collective. Commander, we did it. We've transcended. Chen opened eyes that saw far more than visible light. Her consciousness, now merged with both her crew and the ship's quantum systems, perceived reality in ways that would have driven her mad just hours ago. She saw the approaching swarm ships as tears in the fabric of space-time, hungry voids that consumed everything in their path. But she also saw how to stop them. Battle stations, she commanded, her thought instantly translating into action as the transformed crew moved with perfect coordination. Araya, initiate quantum drive using our new configurations. Dr. Rivera, prepare the primary weapon systems for consciousness-guided targeting. The Aegis's hull began to shimmer, its material structure shifting into a quantum state that mirrored its crew's transformation. They were no longer just a ship and its personnel. They had become something new, something that existed partially outside normal spacetime. Swarm vessels entering weapons range in 30 seconds, Patil's thoughts reached them all. Through their shared perception, they saw the enemy ships more clearly now, biological machines that operated on principles similar to their own transformation, but twisted, hungry, mindless. They expected to find us helpless. Chen's thought carried grim satisfaction. Instead, they'll find equals. Better than equals. They'll find humanity transcended. The first swarm ship launched its attack, a beam of antimatter that should have torn through any normal defense. Instead, the Aegis's quantum-shifted hull simply allowed the beam to pass through a space where the ship both was and wasn't. Return fire, Chen commanded, and 300 minds focused as one, turning thought into action, possibility into reality. The Aegis's weapons didn't fire energy or projectiles. They fired probability itself, erasing portions of the swarm ship from existence. The enemy vessel vanished, not destroyed but simply removed from reality in a way that physics said should be impossible. But they had moved beyond physics now. They had become something new. As more swarm ships approached, Chen felt her crew's confidence growing. They had paid an enormous price for this power, gambling their very humanity on the chance to save Earth. Now it was time to show the universe that humanity's greatest strength wasn't its technology or its weapons, but its willingness to transform itself to protect what it loved. All weapons free, Chen commanded. Show them what humanity has become. The space around Earth's orbital defense network blazed with impossible light as the transformed Aegis engaged the swarm fleet. Through their shared consciousness, Commander Chen and her crew fought as a single entity, their thoughts becoming reality faster than normal physics should allow. More vessels emerging from FTL. Patil's consciousness rippled through their collective awareness. Detecting 57. No. 83 swarm ships. The Aegis danced through space in ways that defied conventional movement, its quantum-shifted hull allowing it to exist in multiple locations simultaneously. Each position offered a new angle of attack, each thought from the crew manifesting as reality-warping weapons fire. Through their expanded perception, Shen felt Earth's conventional defense fleet approaching, led by Admiral Harrison's flagship. Their communications came through as primitive radio waves, almost painfully slow compared to the crew's new form of consciousness-based interaction. Aegis, this is Admiral Harrison. We're registering extreme quantum anomalies from your vessel. Report your status immediately. Chen projected her thoughts through conventional communications, trying to translate their new existence into terms the Admiral could understand. This is Commander Chen. The Aegis has been upgraded. We found a way to fight the swarm, but you need to keep your fleet at a safe distance. Our methods of combat aren't compatible with conventional ships. As if to demonstrate her point, 3 swarm vessels launched an attack that phased their weapons through normal spacetime. The Aegis's transformed crew perceived the attack from all possible angles simultaneously, allowing them to shift the ship's quantum state to a position where the attack couldn't exist. Impossible, Harrison's voice crackled. Chen, what have you done to your ship? To your crew? What we had to do, Chen responded, even as she directed the crew's collective consciousness toward a counterattack. We've transcended our limitations, become something new. But we're still human where it matters most, in our determination to protect Earth. The Aegis's weapons weren't just energy or matter anymore. They were thoughts given form, probability made manifest. Each shot erased portions of the swarm ships from reality itself, not destroying them, but making them never have been. Through their shared perception, the crew felt the swarm's growing confusion. The alien vessels had expected easy prey, a civilization bound by physical laws they had long since transcended. Instead, they found themselves facing an enemy that had learned to break those same laws in mere hours. They're adapting. Rivera's thoughts warned through their collective consciousness. The swarm is attempting to match our quantum frequency. Time to implement the second phase. Chen's consciousness merged deeper with the ship's systems, guiding the Aegis through a series of movements that shouldn't have been possible. They weren't just fighting in 3-dimensional space anymore. They were fighting across probability itself. Admiral, Chen transmitted to Harrison, what you're about to see will defy explanation. But I need you to trust us. Keep your fleet in a defensive formation around Earth. We'll handle the swarm. Before Harrison could respond, the Aegis began to multiply. Not physical copies, quantum echoes, each one as real as the original. Each one crewed by the same 300 transformed minds, operating in perfect synchronization. The ship existed in dozens of parallel states simultaneously, attacking the swarm from angles that existed outside normal spacetime. The swarm reacted with increasing desperation, their biological mechanical ships trying to match the Aegis's impossible maneuvers. But they were fighting with borrowed technology, stolen from civilizations they had consumed. The Aegis's crew was fighting with something more powerful, human consciousness, expanded beyond its natural limits, driven by the need to protect their home. Energy spike. Patel's warning coursed through their shared awareness. The swarm is attempting to combine their ship's quantum fields. They're trying to create a singular consciousness to match ours. Through their expanded perception, they watched as the swarm vessels began to merge, their forms twisting together into something that hurt to look at even with their transformed senses. The combined entity was massive, a writhing mass of biological and mechanical parts that existed partially outside of normal reality. They think size and power are all that matter. Chen's thoughts reached every member of her crew. Show them what humanity's greatest strength really is. The Aegis's quantum echoes began to move in perfect synchronization, each version of the ship guided by the same 300 minds. They weren't just fighting as individuals anymore, or even as a crew. They had become something else, a manifestation of humanity's ultimate potential, driven by the one thing the swarm could never understand: choice. Every person aboard had chosen to risk their humanity to protect Earth. Every transformed mind had willingly embraced an existence that defied comprehension to save their species. That choice, that sacrifice, that determination, it gave them a strength that went beyond mere technology. As the massive combined swarm entity launched its attack, the Aegis and its quantum echoes moved as one. They weren't just going to fight the swarm. They were going to show the universe what humanity could become when pushed to its absolute limits. The final phase of the battle was about to begin, and its outcome would determine not just Earth's fate, but the future of human evolution itself. Space itself seemed to bend and twist as the transformed Aegis faced the combined might of the swarm. The enemy had merged into a single vast entity that existed partially outside normal reality, a writhing mass of biological and mechanical parts that dwarfed Earth's largest vessels. But size wasn't everything, and humanity had learned that lesson well. Through their shared consciousness, Commander Chen felt her crew's unwavering resolve. All quantum echoes. Execute pattern Sierra 9. Her thoughts rippled through their collective awareness. The Aegis's multiple quantum states moved in perfect synchronization, each version of the ship guided by 300 minds working as one. The swarm entity is generating a reality warping field, Dr. Rivera's consciousness reported. They're trying to unmake us at the quantum level. Chen watched through multiple sets of enhanced perceptions as space began to fracture around them. The swarm's combined form was attempting to rewrite the laws of physics themselves, to create a bubble of space where human consciousness couldn't exist in its transformed state. But they had prepared for this. "Era," Chen commanded, "initiate the Transcendence Protocol." The A's response echoed through their shared mindscape. "Warning. The Transcendence Protocol has never been tested. Probability of survival is unknown. We didn't come this far to play it safe." Chen's thoughts carried her determination to every crew member. Execute the protocol. The Aegis's quantum echoes began to move in a pattern that shouldn't have been possible even by their new standards. They weren't just existing in multiple states anymore. They were about to attempt something that would either save humanity or end their existence entirely. Consciousness synchronization at maximum, Rivera reported. Beginning quantum collapse. The 300 transformed minds aboard the Aegis focused as one, their expanded consciousness reaching out to touch the quantum fabric of reality itself. They weren't just fighting the swarm anymore. They were about to show them the true meaning of evolution. The ship's multiple quantum states began to collapse, not into a single reality, but into something else entirely. The Aegis wasn't becoming one ship again. It was becoming something that existed beyond the concept of singular or multiple. Through their shared perception, they felt the swarm entity's confusion. The vast creature had consumed countless civilizations, stolen their technology, adapted their methods. But it had never encountered anything like this, a species willing to transform itself so completely, to risk everything not for power or conquest, but for protection. Now, Chen commanded, and the Aegis transcended its final limitations. The ship and its crew became pure quantum potential, a manifestation of human consciousness operating outside the bounds of conventional reality. They weren't fighting with weapons anymore. They were fighting with the power of choice, of sacrifice, of determination given form. The swarm entity lashed out with weapons that should have erased them from existence. Instead, the attacks passed through spaces where the Aegis both was and wasn't, could and couldn't be. The transformed crew responded not with destruction, but with something more profound. They showed the swarm the truth. Through their expanded consciousness, they projected every moment of their transformation, every choice, every sacrifice, every individual who had willingly risked their humanity to protect their home. They showed the swarm what it meant to evolve not through consumption and theft, but through dedication and unity. The vast entity recoiled, its merged consciousness encountering something it had never found in all its conquests. A force more powerful than mere physical laws, a species that had transcended not through violence but through choice. Their quantum field is destabilizing. Rivera's thoughts carried triumph. The merged consciousness is breaking apart. The swarm entity began to fragment, its stolen technologies failing as it faced something beyond its understanding. Individual ships tried to break away, to escape, but they couldn't hide from what humanity had become. Ken's consciousness reached out, backed by the full power of her transformed crew. They didn't destroy the swarm ships. They rewrote them, transformed them, showed them a different way to exist. One by one, the vessels that had threatened Earth were changed, their stolen technologies and consumed consciousnesses freed and transformed. As the last traces of the swarm faded from normal space, Admiral Harrison's voice crackled through conventional communications. "Aegis, Commander Chen, what just happened? What have you become?" Chen looked through eyes that saw far more than light, felt through senses that transcended normal human limitations. Yet in her transformed consciousness, she felt something uniquely human: hope. "We became what humanity needed us to be," she responded, her words carrying across both normal and quantum space. "We proved that our greatest strength isn't our technology or our weapons. It's our ability to choose, to sacrifice, to transform ourselves not for power, but for protection." The Aegis hung in space, its hull shimmering with possibilities, its crew forever changed, but still fundamentally human where it mattered most. They had faced an impossible enemy and transcended their limitations not through force, but through unity and choice. As Earth's defense fleet approached, Chen felt the quantum resonance of the Nexus ship appearing nearby. The impossible vessel that had started their transformation now seemed almost primitive compared to what they had become. "You have exceeded expectations," the Nexus consciousness communicated. "Your species has proven itself ready for the next stage of evolution." Chen's response, backed by her transformed crew, carried the weight of humanity's potential. "We're ready for whatever comes next, not because we're fearless or all-powerful, but because we understand now. The only true limits are the ones we choose to accept." The stars seemed brighter somehow, seen through their new perceptions. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged transformed, ready to explore not just space, but the very nature of reality itself. They had become something more than human, yet remained human where it mattered most, in their capacity to choose, to sacrifice, and to protect what they loved.